Good afternoon. This is Paula Ward, aka Tutu Fit Mama. Hope you guys are having a great Saturday. I am up. I am ready to work out. But I just want to talk about a blog that I shared today. One of the moms that are in my I'm in a sports moms group, shared me this article, and it was great. It was written by Jordan Patterson. She was a catcher for the University of Alabama softball team. And what was great about her is that, like anybody, I'm sure some of you guys may be Division I sports players. Most people, their first 2 years do not play that much. You know, like the underclassmen are the kids that help the seniors practice. They do sit on the bench. And most players know that going in, unless you're a phenomenal player, that this is their dues. You know, she went out, she practiced hard. She knew that by practicing as hard as she can, she will end up in her junior and senior year being a starter on the team for the catcher. What ended up happening was, and she couldn't plan this, is a girl had transferred in before her junior year and was a better catcher than her, and she ended up her role not changing at all. And she's like, you know, I knew right then, and not many people, you have to read the article, not many people want to give up and say, all right, well, I'm just a role player, I'm here to help the team. But for her, it kind of changed kind of her life. She said, you know what, I'm not going to be a starter now, but I'm going to be the best player that I can. And it's not more about me and being a best player now, it's about the team and making the team the best that it can be. At some point before she graduated, a local newspaper had interviewed her about her experience about being a team player. And she didn't think anything of it. She ended up going to law school. And in her law school, she had gone to an internship her sophomore year or junior year, and she wanted to go to this big DC firm. Most people never get into it, but what they did was when they looked her up, they had Googled an article and saw, you know, her views on being a team player, how it meant more that the team did well, not just her success, and that everybody on a team has a role regardless of whether you're a starter, bench warmer, manager, whatever you are doing. They all have value and they all push the team towards a win. So she got in, she got the interview, and during the interview she got to the last guy who was a sports guy, and he said to her, he goes, oh, I see you played for Division I school. Did you have much time playing? And she said, no, I didn't. And he said he asked her the question that ultimately got her the job, and the question was, what did you learn from that? And she said, I went into this 45-minute spiel that at that point I knew I had the best interview of my life. And 2 days later, she had landed the job. And what her statement was is that she had learned selflessness. I'm losing my train of thought. I just woke up, guys. Bear with me. Selflessness. She learned to put the team ahead of herself. That she would actually push herself harder to work so that the key players that were making a difference would push them harder, and that the team became more important than whatever her dreams or whatever she thought her college career was going to be. They actually had won a championship, and she just learned how to value people and everything else. So I included the article in my blog, and I think as we have, for me and my friends, we have kids that are entering middle school, and it's the first time they've tried out for teams that maybe they're not the best kid on. Maybe they try out for teams and they don't make it, or maybe they're asked to be the manager. And it's tough because, let's be honest, every 12-year-old thinks they are the greatest player in the world, and they're not. You know, and as parents, I think, even if you are the greatest player, there's always things you can improve on. And I think, what do you tell that poor kid that you're driving home with who's crying, who is really upset because they thought their team or tryout was going to go a different way? And I think you tell them, like she said, she kept saying that the game knows. The game knows how hard you work, how much effort you put in, and it will reward you. Now, it may not be at that moment when you want it, like to get on the basketball team, to get on that baseball team, to get on that soccer team, but it will reward you because it teaches you work ethic. It teaches you that every part of the team is a valued member, and that if you value everybody on that team and treat them down to, you know, and I never realized this, that every Red Sox person during that year, and even the Cubs, gets rings. It's not just those star players. It's the catchers that help in the bullpen. It's the bat boy, my friend Chris. It's the ushers. The ushers actually get a ring because all those people had an important role in getting that World Series or getting that championship, and organizations that value their whole team as a whole do better. So I included the article. It was really good. And it's, like I said, I think that when you have 12-year-old boys, 13-year-old boys, it's very hard for them to understand that they may not always know that their experiences are going to affect them at that time, but it's basically making them leaders. It's teaching them how to deal with failure and how to change how they deal with things in life, and that's huge. The sports, the fields, the courts, they're all, my kids are wandering around, tormenting me. They're all classrooms, and you're basically setting yourself up to learn how to be a good adult, and people are going to look for that. But you just have to be strong, believe in them, and even if you're the manager, even if you're that, you go to every practice, you try your hardest, and sometimes you need to be the biggest cheerleader in the whole thing. And I think as a coach too, you need to value all of your players, not just the people that are out there winning the games for you, but the guys that are on the benches, because those guys on the benches are the ones that are cheering on your players, that are bringing up the energy on the bench. And that was just my thought today. I had read it and I really wanted to share with you guys. So I included it in the blog. Please check it out. She did a really great job writing this article, and she's now, I think, a lawyer in D.C. But I think with a lot of our kids, they have all these visions of what they're going to be or how things are go, or that the best player. And there's nothing wrong with failure. And it actually, I sometimes I'm actually almost glad that my kid has had maybe not been the best player on the team, because I think it has made him work harder. Well, my daughter, I don't know, but for my son at least, it's really made him push to practice and watch the game and really put 100% in, when maybe if it came easy to him, he wouldn't have to. So that's my thoughts. I hope you have a great Saturday afternoon. This is Paula Ward, aka 22 Foot Mama. Hope this helps you live your best life. Please share the article. I included it in a link in the blog today. So have a great day, everybody. Thank you, Matt, Sarah, and Sayla, for jumping on. Have a great Saturday.